You often see debates online about what operating system is the best. In the comments, on forums, in videos, Windows, macOS, Linux, everyone has a strong opinion. And what always stands out to me is how confident people are that their opinion is the right one. And that's just it, it's just an opinion. Or is it? The more time I spend actually using different operating systems, the more complicated it feels. I have spent many years on Windows, and I still am for work. I have solid experience with macOS, and the M4 performance is incredible. And I have limited experience with Linux compared to both of them, but I am really loving my time here. Each one feels very different. Each one pushes you in a different way of working, and each one has moments where it feels perfect and moments where it feels frustrating. But can you really be objective about parts of an operating system? Well, absolutely. You can be more objective than people think, but only if you are clear about what you are actually measuring and how. So let's take stability. What does that mean in practice? Well, you could measure how long the system runs without needing a reboot. You could measure how often core services crash. You could measure how many kernel panics or fatal errors happen over a set period of time. You could even run the same workload for weeks and log any failures. That gives you data. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is measurable. Now, performance is easier, right? You can run benchmarks, CPU tests, GPU tests, disk speed tests, memory throughput tests. You can run the same workload on different systems and compare the results. Rendering times, compile times, game frame rates, file copy speeds, those numbers are repeatable and they can be checked by other people. Hardware support can be measured by compatibility. Does the device boot? Does Wi-Fi work? Does Bluetooth work? Does audio work? Does suspend and resume work? Does the GPU run with full acceleration? You can take the same laptop and test all of those things across different operating systems and record what works and what does not. Memory uses can also be measured directly. You can boot into a clean desktop. You can check how much RAM is being used at idle. Open the same applications. Check again. Log the numbers. And then there's crash frequencies, and it's similar to stability. You can log how often applications crash, how often the desktop session dies, how often the system locks up. Over time, patterns can appear, so yes, you really can measure all of those things. Now, the catch is each measurement still depends on what hardware you use, what workloads you choose, how long you observe, and what you consider failure. Two people can run objective tests and still get different results because their environments are different. So the measurements are objective in method, they are systematic, they are repeatable, they are based on real data, but they are not the universal truth. They describe a situation on this hardware with this workload at this point in time. That is why even the objective parts never really fully settle the best OS debate. They give you evidence, but they don't really give you the final answer. But when people argue online, they're usually not talking about those details. They're talking about how it feels to use, how smooth their workflow is, how snappy it is, how often the system gets in their way, how much control they feel they have. And this is where the conversation changes. An operating system is a tool, and tools only make sense in relation to what you are trying to do. If your work depends on a specific commercial software, one OS fits better. If you want tight hardware and software integration, then another fits better. And if you want control, transparency, and the ability to understand your system, another fits better. Those points shift the conversation away from the technology. They reflect what each person values and prioritizes. This is the point where the idea of a single best operating system starts to fall apart. So even with my limited experience in Linux, I already lean toward it. I mean, it has problems, things break, setup can be confusing, documentation is not always clear, sometimes you work harder than you expect to, but there is something about Linux that I value. It feels like the system belongs to me, it feels transparent, it feels like I'm allowed to understand what is happening inside instead of just accepting it. Windows feels practical and familiar, macOS feels polished and controlled, Linux feels open and flexible. All three do important things well. All three also have trade-offs. Now, I prefer the direction that Linux takes, even when that direction comes with some niggles. After using all three operating systems, and especially after starting to learn Linux, I do not think the best operating system is something that you can decide in a fully objective way. You can compare features, and you can compare performance, and you can compare stability and security. The idea of best changes depending on what you care about and how you use your computer. For me right now, Fedora is the one I am most comfortable with. It fits how I learn, it fits how I want to explore, and it fits how I want to understand my system. And that is what makes it the right choice for me at this point in time. If you made it this far, thanks. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite OS is and why. Alternatively, just drop an emoji for the sake of engagement. Thank you so much for watching, you guys take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.